Hello, welcome back tuning into today's video. We're going to have a look at the Japanese model for the next 3 months today. We've got the update from the JMA for November, December and January. So have a look at the charts in detail in a moment. These charts will make up part of the seasonal forecast at the end of the month, when we'll get all the seasonal models together and see what they're all showing for the winter. But we won't have time to go into detail on that video because that's something like 8 long-range models, 8 seasonal models to look at. So we won't have time to go into a lot of detail with the JMA. You can get a huge amount of detail from this model. It's a very useful model. So we'll have a look at it in detail today and see what it's showing from next month, November, through to January. It doesn't cover the whole of the winter period yet. That will be next month when we get the full winter update. Also have a look at the charts for next week as well. So before I get on with all that, just want to say about the ads. There's links to articles sitting underneath the weather video here on my homepage at gasweathers.com. If you have a browse through the widget, you'll be able to see if there's any articles that you're interested in. If there is, just click through when you finish at Gasweathers, of course, and you'll be able to go off and read that article. Have a support website by doing that. There may be green keyword ads on some of the pages as well. If you write your cursor over green keyword, they'll display ads. But if you click through the word, go to the advertiser's website, you'll be able to support gasweathers.com by doing that. And there's also a new ad unit down near the Discuss comment box. If you haven't signed up for Discuss yet, check that out, see what it's all about. I'll replace a comment box to a much more substantial comment platform. So have a look and see what that's about. There's also an ad unit down there, so have a browse through, and if there's anything you're interested in there, you can click through and you'll be able to support Gasweathers. All these things are basically paying for the website, allowing me to sit here and talk to you via website, so thanks very much for doing that. Right, let's get on with the update from the Japanese model. This is the 500 millibar flow chart for November, first of all, for the coming month, for next month. Based on the Northern Hemisphere view, we're looking down at this from the top of the pole. And the first thing to say is that British Isles is just here. We're upside down on this chart. So blue is extrapolating to low pressure, orange, yellow extrapolating to high pressure. So for next month, for November, the anomaly shows that we've got this trough of low pressure out in the Atlantic, below average height sitting there, just to the south of Iceland. A ridge down to the south, so that's high pressure building in through the Med, and going up to the east of the country as well. So the flow with this is generally Atlantic based. We're bringing Atlantic air in. It's quite mild as well from the west or the southwest with that flow, and it's also unsettled, particularly in the north and the west. But I think all of us will be getting some rain at times, to be honest, from that sort of setup. We'll have a look at how this breaks down in terms of temperature and precipitation on the mid-latitude chart view in a moment. So going through to December, this is the 500 millibar height anomaly flow chart for December. It's very similar actually to November. We've got the trough of low pressure, albeit even deeper, out in the Atlantic. We've got the ridge, more based to the east really of the country, there sitting up to the east and the northeast. So it is hinting at sort of high pressure through western Russia, Scandinavia, going down into the east of Europe. But generally, again, the flow is still Atlantic based. The air's coming in something like that. So again, another mild month is expected with that, and also possibly very unsettled with a lot of rain, because that's a deep trough sitting out to the west and the northwest. Now, because this ridge to the east is so strong, if things set up just right, we could be watching out for easterly winds to start to move in from that ridge. There's no real sign of it on that sort of setup, but I'm just saying that because the ridge is so strong. It is a very strong ridge sitting to the east. If things were to set up just right, we could bring in some colder easterly winds. But generally, I think that's a mild, unsettled flow, again being signalled there for December. And then finally going through to January from the Japanese model. Well, if you want a cold winter, it's not great, is it? Because again, we've got these below charts for blue colours sitting around Iceland, or centred around Iceland, but really through the Atlantic. High pressure, the orange and yellows ridging to the south of the country. That's a very zonal, westerly setup really for January, bringing a strong jet stream through with that. It's mild, it's a mild month, it's also an unsettled month. There'll be a lot of rain, particularly again in the north and west, but all areas would be at risk of having some rain at times. Could probably not as wet, as bad as it was last January, but it's an unsettled month really being signalled there for January 2015. So again, there's been this shift that has gone on with these longer range models from where we started in September. There's definitely been a shift this month in October. We've seen it with the CFS as well. There's definitely been a shift towards a milder solution for the winter. The models have dropped the idea, or a lot of these models have dropped the idea of northern blocking, and they've gone with a zonal flow through this October. Quite what's happened this month, I'm not sure. We're building up the snow cover across Siberia very nicely, so it's not that. Whether it's the stall in the El Nino, which I can't hear is starting to gather pace by the look of it now. Again, we're beginning to get some very low southern oscillation indexes being recorded at the moment, which indicates that the atmosphere and the ocean are beginning to hook up towards an El Nino. But through much of September and the early part of October, we have had a stall really in the El Nino. So whether it's that, I'm not sure, but definitely something has changed as we've gone through to this October, with many of these models indicating a mild winter now, and you'll see this more as we go through into the actual seasonal model update, which I'll be doing a week on Sunday, when we'll get about 7 or 8 of these longer range models together. So having a look at the mid-latitude view from the Japanese model, the British Isles is just here. This is again the 500 millibar flow chart for November. Just again confirmation, we've got this trough out to the west of the country, deep area of low pressure. The ridge is over to the east there, and we're bringing in the air off the Atlantic like that. So that extrapolates in terms of temperature and precipitation to above average temperatures in most green colours there, warmer than average November being signalled, and it also extrapolates to a wetter than average month. Hardly surprising, it's a very Atlantic dominated month, so in the blue colours there, with rainfall coming out on the wetter side of average. If we move through and have a look at how things play out through December in terms of the rainfall and the precipitation, in terms of the rainfall and the temperature, we can see that the rainfall for December again is coming out wetter than average in most blue colours once again. There's the 500 millibar height anomaly flow view. Again, you'll see the deep trough is out in the Atlantic, so it's not a surprise that we're signalling a wetter than average month here. The temperature is coming out again warmer than average, or on the milder side than average. It's not a desperately mild signal, but certainly in most green colours, so around a degree to 1 degree above average for December. If this is right, by the way, we will be firmly locked into the warmest month on the warmest year on record for 2014. It's already running at the warmest on record. There's nothing there really to offset it, so if this is right, we are looking at 2014 being the warmest year since records began in 1659. That'll be some record to beat. And then finally going through to January 2015, again there's the 500 millibar flow view. We've got the deep trough out to the northwest around Iceland, ridging through Spain and Portugal from the Atlantic, a strong jet stream coming through, so it's a zonal signal, very westerly dominated January, if that's right, with more rain being thrown up across the country. The rainfall again is coming out wetter than average in most blue colours, so all 3 months coming up wetter than average if this is right, and all 3 months coming out warmer than average, because again in most cream colours there for January, showing that temperatures are again on the plus side of average. Very warm winter being signalled, by the way, for much of Eastern Europe and Western Russia. I'm not quite sure what that is being based upon. But overall, we can see from the Japanese model that we're in, if it's right, we're in for a very mild winter with a lot of westerly winds, Atlantic influences, certainly up to January anyway. We can't see what it's showing for February, of course, but certainly up to January, the first half of winter, looking very unsettled, westerly zonal winter with quite a bit of rain and milder than average temperatures. Not very good if you want a cold winter. Now, just have a look at the charts for next week. We can see that for Tuesday, we bring down on the GFS, we bring down another area of flow pressure. That's going to bring more cloud and outbreaks of rain to the start of next week. But we'll cut off a very mild supply of air that we're going to have at the weekend, so temperatures will go back nearer to average, but still probably on the milder side. Going through to midweek, high pressure is ridging in to the south south of the country with low pressure to the northwest. That's a very good example, actually, of the charts we're just looking at from the Japanese model. If the JMA is right for the winter, we're going to see this sort of set up quite a lot. Low pressure around Iceland, high pressure reaching through Spain and Portugal in a flat westerly flow, mild, unsettled, particularly to the northwest, but all areas could get rain at times. Through to a week's time, this takes us through to Thursday, and we see that another system is coming down from the northwest. That's probably bringing cloud outbreaks of rain down across the country. And moving through to day 10, Sunday the 26th of October, high pressure is there actually reaching back in to the south of the country. That's settling things down, but it still generally is quite mild. The ECMWF for a week's time, Thursday 23rd, showed the high pressure sitting down to the south, bridging through the country. Notice there is high pressure building up over Scandinavia. That's happening because it looks as though we're going to bring down some really quite cold air in the next few days into Scandinavia and western parts of Russia. Have a look at the upper air temperatures. You'll see there's a lot of cold air there up to the northeast. And over that cold air, probably with snow on the ground, we're going to attempt to build some sort of ridge of high pressure over Scandinavia, over that cold air. So that's a different development, and we're going to see how that plays out. But for us, it basically means this ridge is building into that high pressure over Scandinavia, sort of keeping things largely settled. Though in the north and northwest, it would be more unsettled. As we get through to day 10, so the 26th, the high pressure is building into quite a major feature actually across western parts of Russia and just to the east of Scandinavia. We are still under this area, the influence of this area of low pressure around Iceland, so bringing in a flat westerly flow again. It's probably unsettled up to the north, not too wet down to the south. So that's how it's looking with the Japanese model. It's not a very good update at all if you want a cold winter, but there we are. That's what it's showing, a very westerly based 3 monthly period coming up from November through to January. We just have to wait and see how it goes, and we'll have some more longer range models updating soon, and Mel will go in of course to the big update, but I'll be doing a week on Sunday. In terms of the coming week, it looks like you're going to be starting unsettled next week. We're going to try and build a ridge up from the south, probably settling things down a little bit for England and Wales. But I think overall the flow is still westerly, it's still pretty unsettled, and the worst of rain probably moving more towards the north and west as we get through to the latter stages of next week. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. It's JMA Friday tomorrow, where we'll just look at the month ahead. Also have some charts from Beijing Climate Centre for the coming month as well. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching.